Hello guys, welcome back to my channel, or if you're new, welcome to my channel. My name is Alexa, and in today's video I'm going to be doing something very exciting, which is the mid-year check-in book tag. If you are not familiar with tags and stuff like that, basically a couple of years ago, I don't think people do it that much anymore. People used to do these things called like book tags where you kind of just answer a bunch, like a list of questions, and this year is just like a mid-year reading check-in, like where I'm at, some like favorite books, anticipated releases, and I'm also adding my own little section which is some book stats. So yeah, first I thought I would say the amount of books I read this year. I have read a total of, as of July 11th, 175 books. I may or may not have a problem where I basically read whenever I have free time, and I also am a full-time booktuber, so I do read a lot for work as well. So I read a whole lot, like I said earlier. And I also love audiobooks. I'm an audiobook girly. I've discovered the joy of audiobooks this year. So that is how I read 175 books so far this year. It is a total of 69,769 pages. I think it is mostly romance. I've read, well, I looked at my stats on Fable, and they were basically telling me that my average rating is 4.3 stars. I'm at my current pace. I'm gonna reach my 2025 goal, which was 200 books by August. And basically it says that I've read 100. It doesn't add up technically, but it's because some can fit in multiple categories. So like out of my most read genre is romance. There's 143 romances, 40 fantasy, so already that's more than 175, but it's because I read fantasy romance as well. 20 sports romance, 12 young adult, and 5 sci-fi, which I'm curious which one are the sci-fi. One of the stats I would have originally probably said in this section, I'm gonna say in like later in the video because it is a part of the book tag. But my most read authors, like my top 3, let's just say, we have in first place Elle Kennedy with 13 books, Jay Bree with 6 books. Jay Bree is the author of the Bonds That Tie series, and Anna Huang with 4 books. So yeah, I've just been reading a whole lot. Honestly, there's periods where I don't read books, like I don't finish a book for a couple of days, but then there's periods where I also do 24-hour readathon and finish like 5 books in one weekend. So it's never the same amount of books every month. There's some books, like the month where I read the most books so far this year was May, and I read 31 books. And the month where I read the least amount of books, I think, was June, where I read 25. So like it really depends on the month, and sometimes it's novellas, shorter books, sometimes it's 600, 800 page fantasy books. Okay, so now on to the actual questions in the tag. The first one is best book you've read so far in 2025. And you guys know the answer to this one if you watched any of my other videos. You guys know that Ali Hazelwood is my favorite author, and that this book, Deep End by Ali Hazelwood, is my favorite book of all time. I have read this book twice so far, once in like the actual paperback, once on audio, and I'm probably gonna re-listen to the audio or reread this very soon. I loved this book so much. I think about it every single day. It is honestly like 50% of my brain space is taken up by this book. I would sell my soul to read it again for the first time. It was truly amazing, and you guys should all go read it, and just I love it so much. And if you want to like know more my top 10 of the year so far, I do have a TikTok where I go through all 10, but I am also trying to not make this video 45 minutes long, so I thought I would just really talk about this one. And you guys know Ali Hazelwood is my favorite author. I own all of her books. I've read all of her books. There's maybe one novella of hers that I haven't read yet, but other than that, like I've read all of her work. And she's my, like if I had to choose one author to read all their books, but I could only read books from that author, it would be her. Also because she releases like 3 books a year right now. Like yeah, this year she's releasing 3 books plus a novella and like the whole dystopian thing that I saw that she's doing with a couple of other authors. But I definitely recommend, if you guys are into sports romance, if you guys love Ali Hazelwood, I definitely recommend going to read this one. The next prompt is best sequel you've read, and I decided to take that literally. So I decided to make sequel mean literally second book in a series, and I decided to not count interconnected standalones since they are not like fully, it's not a continuation of the like series. It is more different characters get their own books, and so it has to be a second book in a series where it follows all the same characters, and like there's the main character is the same throughout all the books in the series, and that book is Reckless by Lauren Roberts. You guys know that I started the Powerless trilogy back in February. I read Powerless and Powerful in February, and then in March I read Reckless, and in May I read Fearless. I prefer, like, my favorite one in the series was absolutely Fearless, but Fearless is the third book, it's not the second book, so I had to choose the second book in the series. I know a lot of people didn't like Reckless as much as Powerless, but I preferred Reckless over Powerless. I think for me, it's always very difficult to absolutely adore the first book in a fantasy series, since it is more like, the first book is always more focused on building the story, world building, you're meeting the characters, you're figuring out what the world is like, and at the end of the book they're like, boom, cliffhanger, most of what you thought was real is not real. And then in the second book, I feel like you really get to explore the story more because you're already familiar with the world. So I feel like the first one, it's always difficult to judge it because you're like, did I love it and did I not love it? Or was it just, it was a lot of world building, so I feel like I didn't get a lot of time to really see the story, you know? But I adored Reckless. It was so good. I gave it a 4.75 stars, I think. And I was just obsessed with it. It was probably one of my favorite fantasy books of the year, and honestly I think I might reread the Powerless trilogy before Fearful that's coming out in September, another novella. I wonder if there's going to be other books that are released in the series, but I know at least there's going to be another novella. After that, we have a new release you really want to read but you haven't read yet, and that book is Enchantra by Kaylee Smith, not Kylie Smith. This book came out in April. It came out, I think, April 1st or April. Does it say it in the book? It does not, sadly, but this book is the sequel to, well, kind of interconnected sequel to Phantasma, which I read last year. I think it was my last 5-star of 2024, and this one I haven't gotten to it yet. I really want to, but I don't think I've been in the right mood for this book, but I feel it coming. I know I'm going to be reading this book quite soon, very soon, and I'm just really excited to read it, but I loved Phantasma so much that I'm scared that this one isn't going to live up to the hype. I know a lot of people are preferring this one over Phantasma, which is a bit comforting to me because I'm like, okay, well, maybe I'm going to love this one even more. I'm hoping I will, because I mean, you always want a series to get better and better, even if you love the first, because it means you're gonna love the rest even more. I don't think there's gonna be more books in this series, but I'm really excited to read Genevieve's story. Also, I've seen fan art of the main couple in this book a little bit, like, kind of everywhere, and I'm obsessed, and I need to, like, I'm just obsessed with both characters. After that, we have most anticipated releases for the second half of the year. Technically, it's most anticipated release, but I will say I do have at least 1 or 2 anticipated release per month, and I can't pick. I can't make decisions. I actually really struggle with making decisions. Right, so for July, the 2 anticipated releases changed just today when I was going through it again, because I had basically written down the information like mid-June for this book, for this video, and at first, it was Rose in Chains and the Irresistible Urge to Fall in Love with Your Enemy, which I had put originally in my July TBR, which they've not been removed. And in my July TBR, I was talking about how oh, I think it's fine to read them since they don't give money directly to J.K. Rowling. And then I was scrolling through threads a couple of days ago, and I saw that a lot of people in the trans community were like, hey, so please don't support this book, because even though it's not directly giving money to her, it is still marketed as Hermione, published Hermione fanfiction. So it does indirectly give support to J.K. Rowling, because people are going to read those and be like, oh, I want to go interact with more of this work. So I've decided to not read them because I don't want to support that author at all. So if you saw me supporting, being like, oh, I'm going to read those books, I think it's fine in that video, and you're like, hey, so that's not fine, just know that I'm no longer planning on reading those books and supporting those, yeah, supporting those books. But basically I changed my books for the month of July, and the first one is Overruled by Elena Ferguson. I know technically both books in the month of July are already out yet, but they're new releases because they were for the month of July, and we're still in the month of July. This one, well, you guys know I love Lana Ferguson. I really loved both Lock and Key, and I also loved The Nanny. The Game Changer I liked. Didn't necessarily love, but I still really liked it. I don't really know what this one is about, but I know that she's honestly an auto-read author for me now. I think I've read, if you don't include The Mating Game, which I'm not reading because one of the main characters has the name of a family member, and I'm like, maybe not. Like, I don't feel like that's something I want to do. But other than that one, no, The Fake Mate. The Fake Mate is the one that I'm not reading. The Mating Game I will be reading, but The Fake Mate is the one I'm not reading. But other than that one, I've read all the ones other than that one that I'm not gonna read for those reasons, not because I don't want to read the book itself. And this one, because it just came out and I got it yesterday, I want to read I've read every book that she's released, and I will keep reading every book she releases because I'm obsessed with her. And like her as an author and as a person, I'm on her Instagram channel thing, like where it's kind of like, it almost feels like you're on a group chat with a person but you just can't answer, and she like always posts snippets of her books on there, and she's chaotic and I love her. She's iconic. For the month of July, we also have Tusk Love by Thea Guanzon. She is the author of the Hurricane Wars series, and this is a book in a series that's called, or a universe that's called Critical Role, which I didn't know what it was until I saw a TikTok of her the other day. And basically she was talking about how so many people are telling her that they didn't know what Critical Role was, and they just read it because it was her. And I was like, what is Critical Role? Well, turns out it's all D&D romances. Dungeons and Dragons. And I was a Dungeons and Dragons nerd in high school. Okay, I will admit to it. I'm a nerd and I played Dungeons and Dragons. I was actually in the Dungeons and Dragons club. So I feel like that book is gonna be perfect for me, and I'm so excited to read it. And from the first 5 chapters of the Hurricane Wars that I read so far, I know I'm gonna absolutely love it. You know, I love her writing style. In August, we have Accomplice to the Villain, which is the 3rd book in the Pole Assistant to the Villain series, and you guys know that I loved those books. They got me out of a almost 2-year-long reading slump, and I'm so excited to read that one based off, because if I remember right, the 2nd book left us on a huge cliffhanger, and yeah, it did leave us on a huge cliffhanger actually. I just remembered what exactly that cliffhanger was, and I'm obsessed with Evie and the villain, and well, Tristan, and I love that universe. It's such the books give off such cozy vibes, so I just cannot wait to jump back into it. And we also have Love Arranged by Laura Nasher. You guys know Laura Nasher is one of my favorite authors of all time, and it is the final book in her series. It's the Lake Wisteria series, or is it the Lakefront Billionaires series? One of those is the name of the series, and I've actually read all of her books that she's ever released because she's an amazing author, and I just cannot wait for, I think it's Lily and Lorenzo's story. It's September. We actually have 3 books, and it is the only month. No, it's one of the 2 months that I have 3 books that I'm super excited for. Honestly, there's so many authors that I love are releasing like 2-3 books a year, so it just means that I get so many anticipated releases like every single year. So in September, we have a Wild Card by Elsie Silver, and I'm so excited for that one. It's gonna be so fun. I think it was the first chapter. Actually, let me go. Is it the first chapter that's at the end of, yes, I got a sneak peek of the next book in the Rose Hill series of Wild Card at the end of Wild Side, and this book is called Wild Card. I think it's Bash and, what are the name of the 2 characters again? So it's Bash and, can't remember her name, but I'm so excited for it. It sounds, by what I read, it sounds so good, and I'm obsessed with that series as well, so it's gonna be amazing and a fun time. We have Tourist Season by Brynn Weaver. It is the first book in her new series. I don't know what it's about, but I absolutely adored and binged the Ruinous Love trilogy. And I'm just so obsessed with it, and I'm obsessed, I was obsessed with that series, and I'm just really excited for that one. The cover looks kind of spooky. It looks spookier than the Ruinous Love trilogy books, so I'm excited to see what it's going to be about. We also have the last book in September, Soul Searching by Lila Sage. I loved her Rebel Blue Ranch series, and that one takes place not too far from Rebel Blue Ranch. It was mentioned, like the place where it's going to take place and that like where that series is going to take place, her new one. It was mentioned in the last book, Wild and Wrangled, and I know from what she said that it's a ghost town almost with a bit of mystery and I think maybe murder mystery. It's like the romance, and it's kind of, it sounds really different than everything she's ever released, so it's really like, it sounds really exciting, and I'm excited to see where like she goes with the series. In October we have another 3 books. Of course, in number 1 we have Mate by Ali Hazelwood. It is the second book in the Bride series. You guys know I'm always super pumped up for an Ali Hazelwood release. I will be rereading Bride sometime soon, probably more in September, so that it's like really fresh in my mind. I don't even know which characters it's about. I can't remember. I don't care. It's an Ali Hazelwood release, and I'm missing Ali Hazelwood on social media. I know why she deleted her social media, but I miss her on social media. We also have Bonds of Hercules, which is the sequel to Blood of Hercules, and you guys know I was obsessed with Blood of Hercules when I first read it in January, and I'm just so excited for that one, especially after the events in the last like 5 chapters of Blood of Hercules. It's gonna be a wild ride, and it's gonna be probably just as funny and chaotic as the first book. After that, the last book for the month of October is The Defender by Ana Huang. You guys know Ana Huang is also one of my favorite authors. I've read all her books, and I loved The Striker. It was one of my favorite books of last year. It was an immediate 5 stars. The audiobook was absolutely perfect, and I will maybe be doing a immersive reading for that one, so the actual ebook or physical book while listening to the audiobook, because her audiobooks are amazing. I love them so much, and her books are amazing, and I'm so excited for, I think it's Vincent Dubois' story. In November we have Freeing the Wild by Paisley Hope. It is the 4th book in the Silver Pines Ranch series. The other books are Holding the Reins, Taming the Heart. We have Riding That High, and then that one's gonna be Freeing the Wild. I think it's the last book in that series, I'm pretty sure. And if I can remember that right, no, it's not Single Parent. Freeing the Wild, let me go. I can't remember who it's gonna be about, not who it's about, because it's not out yet. Oh yeah, it's about the country music star that they're all friends with all the girls are friends with in the other books, and it is, who is the male main character? Oh, it's Hayden. Okay, yeah, I'm so excited for that book, and I love a good cowboy romance, as you guys know. And the second book for that month is Brimstone by Callie Hart. It is the sequel to Quicksilver, and you guys know I was obsessed with Quicksilver last year when I read it, and I'm just so excited for the second one, and I might need to re-listen to the audiobook of Quicksilver before I read it, because I need to just make sure that I remember everything I need to remember, and probably take down notes for theories for the second book. And lastly, for the month of December, we have The Mating Game by Lana Ferguson. That is the actual mating game. The other one I was talking about the other time was The Fake Mate, earlier when I said The Mating Game. I'm so excited for it. It is a holiday Omegaverse romance, and I have read a bunch of snippets that she sent on her Instagram channel, and it sounds so good. It sounds right up my alley, and I'm just so excited for it. Alright, the next prompt is Biggest Surprise, and I have 2 books for this one, and they are Ready or Not by Cara Bastone and First Time Caller by B.K. Borison. So these were both first books that I've read by these authors. I was reading them because people were talking, well, this one I hadn't seen many people talk about it, but I randomly picked it up in a Barnes & Noble, and I read it within 24 hours of buying it, and I was obsessed with it. It's actually one of my new favorites, and also this one is also like a new favorite. This one I bought right after reading it, because I was like, I need to own this, I need to have it on my bookshelves, I need to be able to reread this whenever I can. It is one of the sweetest love stories I've ever read. It is so cute, it is perfect, and it is based off of one of my favorite rom-coms ever, Sleepless in Seattle. After that we have favorite author, either like a debut author or an author that is new to me this year, and that author is none other than Jada West. You guys know I am obsessed with her book Before Dawn that came out back in March that I got as an ARC, and we're actually Instagram and TikTok mutuals. I'm obsessed with her as a person. She's so kind, and she's such a great writer. Her book Before Dawn is one of my favorite books of all time. It was my third favorite book so far this year, and I've read a lot of books. So you guys just need to all go read her books right away. I need to read her first book in that series actually, which is After Hours. I really need to read that one. I've been dying to read that one, but I just haven't borrowed it on my Kindle yet, and I need to. But you guys need to go read all of her books, and you guys need to follow her on social media. She is such an amazing author, and she has, I think, the third book in that series is coming out either later this year or earlier next year. So you have the time to read them before the next book comes out. All right, next we have newest fictional crush. For this, I didn't put characters that like are some of my new favorite book boyfriends because they got their books this year, but that I knew in previous year, like it before from other books. So like I didn't include Rio DeLuca from the Windy City series because I loved him as a fictional character when like as a background character in the other books. Even though he only got his book this year, I didn't count him as newest like fictional crush. They had to be new to me this year. So first we have, of course, Lucas Boomfist from Deep End. He is my favorite book boyfriend of all time, and I absolutely love him. You have Shep from Ready or Not. He is so sweet. He's so obsessed with Eve, and he is honestly the definition of boy obsessed, and he just will do anything for her. Another man that is obsessed is Vuk Markovic. The man is literally obsessed with her. He basically offered her millions of dollars to be engaged to her because she was engaged to his best friend even though they didn't love each other. Like he's so obsessed with Ayana, and I love that. And lastly, for that category, we have Ellis Bird from Left of Forever by Tara Dewitt. It is such an amazing book that you guys should all go read, and I'm in love with Ellis Bird, and yeah, that's it. Next we have a book that made me cry. In this category I put a very recent 5 stars, and that is Atmosphere by Taylor Jenkins Reid. I adored this book. It was so amazing, and it also literally, as per my Goodreads review, I sobbed through the last 50% of this book. It was amazing, and Taylor Jenkins Reid never fails to make me cry. She will make me cry in all her books. I love her writing, and she just knows how to write a tragic love story. On a lighter note, now we have a book that made you happy, and that is Rewind It Back by Liz Tomforty. I love this book, and it made me happy because I was like, Rio DeLuca finally got his book after years of wanting to find love, after complaining of everyone getting like finding their partner and him being still single and being besties with everyone, and then seeing everyone fall in love, and just me wanting to see his book. He got his book, and it was my favorite book in the series, and you find out so much about his backstory that makes sense. Like, you understand why he is the way he is, and you just love him so much, and I loved him so much. I just can't explain how much I love this book. It was truly amazing and my favorite book by this author. After that, we have The Most Beautiful Book You Bought or Received This Year, and that book is Till Summer Do Us Part by Megan Quinn. I know it might not be like a super special edition, but I'm just obsessed with how the cover connects to the side, like the sprayed edges. Like, it just makes it, like, it looks like if you just go like this, it looks like it all matches so perfectly. And like, here you have the color with the water of the sand, and then the color of the sky on top with the perfect ombre through all the colors here. I'm just obsessed with the color palette. I cannot stop talking about how much I am in love with this cover. After that, we have books or book series that you really want to get to during the rest of the year. First, we have the full Book of Azrael series. I own this first book and I still haven't finished it. I know. I'm gonna restart it probably whenever I'm gonna read it because I read it when I was sick. Like, I started reading the first 60 pages when I was sick and my brain was not working, so I don't remember anything that happens. But I've heard nothing but amazing things about this series, and I feel like it's gonna be probably a 5-star series for me. Promises and Pomegranates by Sav R. Miller. Number 1, the book art on both inside covers, amazing. I've been hearing about this book for years. I think I don't know when it was first published. Actually, also signed copy, which is amazing. I think it was published. Oh, you get a full. I don't know if every copy has this letter, but this copy does have a letter. It was originally published in 2021. So yeah, I've been hearing about this book for years, but I finally got it and I finally will be reading it this year because I've heard nothing but great things. I don't know much about it, but I just heard people loving this series. The Hades and Persephone series, I need to finish it, honestly. I'm 3 books in, I have 4 books left. I'm at A Game of Retribution right now, and I've been reading it since November of last year. That's when I finished the first book, but I'd been wanting to read this series since probably 2022. So it's really like I need to get to it, and it is completed. This is the last book in this series, so I feel like it's the perfect timing to read it, and I also have the last book, so it's a sign. It's a sign that I need to pick up the series. You Again by Kate Goldbeck. This one is I think it's inspired off of You've Got Mail. Actually, it might, there's a chance that it's not, but the cover is really giving me You've Got Mail. You've Got Mail is one of my favorite it's probably my favorite rom-com of all time. And from what I've heard, and also what you can probably tell by the 2 characters on the cover, it is a published Raylo fanfiction, and it is a perfect fall book. So all of these things sound like make this book absolutely perfect for me. Lastly, from this category, we have Throne of the Fallen by Carrie Maniscalco. I wasn't the biggest fan of her, I forgot what it's called, but like Kingdom of the Wicked series, but I've heard that this one is even better, so I'm really hoping I'm gonna love it. I mean, I love the sprayed edges, and the cover I'm obsessed with, and I've really heard nothing but great things, like from people who didn't even like the first series. So I'm hoping that this one can kind of be a redemption arc for Carrie Maniscalco for me. All right, next we have how many 5-star reads this year. Now, I will say it might seem like a very high number, but compared to the ratio of how many 5-star books, like how many books I used to rate 5 stars, it is really good, because that means that there is maybe 3 to 4 books a month, maybe 5 out of like the 20-30 books I read a month that I'm rating 5 stars, which is a great improvement for me because I used to rate most books I read 5 stars. And the total number, so out of 175 reads, only 40 of them have been 5 stars. I know this girl on TikTok that I see often has read like over 200-300 books this year so far, and she's had none. And I will say, I do give books pretty like 5 stars pretty easily. If I'm like, oh my god, I adored this, flawless, amazing, love it, and if I have a great time reading it, well, there's 2 different 5 stars that I have. If it's more if it is a either cute romance or more of a literary fiction, if it's like this book has my entire heart, I will think about it forever, it is the sweetest story ever, or it made me cry, then 5 stars. If it's a more like dark romance that I'm like, this book was amazing, had a great time, 5 stars. I have like my had a great time 5 stars, and this book was immaculate 5 stars, and you can probably tell by the way like I'll be describing them, but I think maybe 10 or 5 of them were like fun time 5 stars, the rest were like immaculate 5 stars. Then we have books you want to reread this year. So I would like to reread Abby Jimenez books, maybe. This, I'm not 100% sure, but I've been wanting to. I also want to read all of Ali Hazelwood's books. That would be very fun. I'd love to reread the Plated Prisoner series, which is my favorite fantasy series of all time. I read it last September, and I feel like I'm due for a reread. Another series that I feel like I'm way overdue for a reread, it is the Knockmount series by Lucy Score. I absolutely adored this when I read it back in 2022, 2023, and I feel like it's just, maybe like I never re-rate books whenever I reread them. Like if I rated it a 5 stars when I first read it, I'm gonna keep the rating a 5 stars because it was 5 star at the time, so that's the rating I have. But I'll never take down I'll never knock the rating down. I just might bump it up if it's even better than I remembered. But I feel like I'd have a fun time reading the series. And lastly, I'd love to reread The Inheritance Games. It is a series that I loved, but I read it like in 2021, I think, or maybe 2022. So I feel like it's time for me to reread it. I'm sure maybe some of my opinions have changed ever since, and I feel like, yeah, it's time for a reread, especially since it's a favorite series of mine. Next we have a book you enjoyed with mixed reviews. And this is actually one of my favorite books of this year, one of my top 10 books, and it is A Great Big Beautiful Life by Emily Henry. I heard people also there's another one I'll talk about after. Actually, I just randomly added one in my mind. I've heard people say that they didn't like this one. It wasn't romancy enough. To me, it was one of the best that one and Happy Place are the two best love stories Emily Henry has ever written. The characters, the connection they had, and the side plot of, I think her name was Margaret, like her life story. It was just truly amazing, and it is one of the best, like one of the two best love stories she's ever written, but it's my favorite book of hers. Like, it is definitely number one, but it's tiny bit above Happy Place, but not that much above it because I love Happy Place. And the other book that I put is I randomly just put, so I didn't write it down, but I thought about it in my mind, is Say You'll Remember Me by Abby Jimenez. Some people thought that the book was maybe too insta-lovey, and they didn't like that. They didn't like the characters. But for me, what I loved and what made this book different was that both characters were in love and together from the start, but they had circumstances that made it very difficult for them to be together. So the story was more them putting work towards the relationship and really doing everything they need to make it work. And they were just so deeply in love, and they were truly each other's soulmates, that it was just beautiful seeing them together, but also so sad to see like them struggle because they each had really difficult things going on in their personal lives and trying to balance work and personal life while also trying to make this relationship work. And it was just one of my favorite books this year. The last question is 5-star predictions for the rest of the year. So for this category, I put books that I own that aren't necessarily like a book that aren't necessarily like a new release in the next few months. Like, I really wanted it to be books that I owned that I already know that when I'm going to read them they're probably going to be 5 stars. First, we have Promise Me Sunshine by Cara Bastone. You guys know I absolutely adored Ready or Not, so I thought I would absolutely put this book here because I've heard also nothing but amazing things from people who read this book. Like, I don't think I've seen a single review that was below 4.5 stars, so I absolutely think this is going to be a 5 stars. And also Not Safe for Work by Nisha J. Tooley. My friend read an arc of this and absolutely recommended it to me, and I feel we have very similar reading taste. She, I think, rated it a 4.5 stars, but she is I give out 5 stars a lot easier than her, so I feel like if she gave it a 4.5, it might be a 5 star for me. And everything I've seen about this book makes me think that it's gonna be a 5 stars, so I cannot wait to read it, and I think I'm gonna love it. Thank you guys so much for watching this video. If you enjoyed it, please consider liking, commenting, and subscribing. If you want to make this video and do the same tags as I did, and we'll do the same tag and answer the questions with your own, please let me know in the comments when you do post it, because I want to read, I want to watch your opinions. If you don't want to actually make the video but you want to answer the questions, answer them in the comments as well. I want to know what you guys have read so far this year. Don't worry, I will put all the prompts in the description of this video because I don't want you guys to have to scour through this video and look through every single prompt I've used just so that you can answer the questions. It'll all be there, and you can feel free to tag me in your video if you do make a video of it. But yeah, I'm so excited to see what the rest of the year, what I'm gonna read for the next rest of the year, and what my ratings are gonna be, and some of these anticipated releases. If you want to see more of my content, as always, I am on Instagram and TikTok. It is always in the description in my link tree, and I love you guys. I will see you guys in the next upload, which will probably be sometime next week. Bye, love ya.